Sleep without your clothes tonight. 6 words. 200 German women stop breathing. The American Guard repeats it, slower, making sure they understand. January 1945, Camp Clinton, Belgium. Temperature, -15 Celsius. The barracks smell like fear and frozen wood. Ilsa's pulse hammers against her throat. She knows what happens to women when armies give strange orders at night. But the guard isn't drunk, isn't smiling. He's carrying metal drums and steam equipment, industrial-looking, like delousing chambers, like the stories from the East. 200 German women POWs. Youngest, 18, oldest, 41. 73 given cyanide pills before capture. 12 already used them. The rest stand here, calculating whether tonight is the night. Sie werden uns schänden. They will violate us. Anna, 19, whispers this. Wehrmacht nurse, captured 3 days ago, still believes the propaganda films about American soldiers. Sergeant Brooks, 27, Ohio farm boy turned guard, sets down steam equipment. More guards arrive, not entering the barracks, installing machines at the entrance, sealing windows. Why? Margaret, 31, signals operator, translates Brooks' words. Procedure starts at 2100, 8 hours. Follow instructions exactly. The wooden barracks creak. Each woman stands beside her cot. Some write final letters, others finger hidden pills. The uniforms they've worn for 6 months, torn, stained, crawling with something, lay folded beside beds as ordered. Ilsa, 24, Wehrmacht nurse, trained for this moment. Not medically, psychologically. Colonel Hoffman's voice echoes, "When they come for you, you know what to do." The small brown pill hidden in her collar, quick, painless, honorable. Brooks checks gauges on the machines, steam hisses, chemical smell, DDT. The Americans are backing away from the building, far away, putting on masks. This is it. The guards move efficiently. No celebration, no alcohol, no leering. Professional, cold, systematic. That's somehow worse than passion. Passion ends. Systems continue. Each woman made her choice. Die standing or submit. The folded uniforms beside beds look like surrender flags, like white sheets, like shrouds. Margaret catches something wrong. The guards are stripping too, outside, in -15. Their uniforms going into the same drums, the same treatment. Why would rapists delouse themselves? Quick question. Comment below. Would you trust your enemy in this moment, or choose the pill? But the guards weren't entering the barracks. They were sealing the doors from outside. The doors lock. Steam hisses through vents. 8 hours begins now. Hoffman's briefing plays in every mind. Americans rape, then kill. Always, no exceptions. Your honor dies with your body. Choose the pill. But the steam smells wrong, not gas. DDT, delousing agent. Ilsa knows this smell from Eastern Front medical tents. Why are Americans delousing? Enemies? Todd Vorshand, death before dishonor. Ruth, 28, teacher turned auxiliary, clutches her collar where the pill was hidden. The Americans found them all during searches, took them, called them suicide pills. Like that was strange. 73 women given pills. Only 12 used them, bodies left in ruins, families told they died honorably, fighting, not captured, never captured. That's the lie families need. The steam fills the barracks, warm. First warmth in weeks, chemical fog. Through windows, Margaret sees impossible things. American guards stripping, freezing, throwing uniforms into drums. Private Martinez, 22, operating machines in underwear. In January, in Belgium. Then she sees them, lice, falling from walls, from ceiling, dead. Millions. They've been living with them so long they stopped noticing. The itch became normal. The fever became expected. The weakness seemed like hunger. Anna scratches welts on her arms. Everyone does. They thought it was cold. Nerves. Fear. It's parasites. Feeding. Breeding. Killing slowly. The Wehrmacht never mentioned lice, never provided delousing, never cared. Through steam, Guards burn their own uniforms, actual flames, destroying their own clothing. No hierarchy, no distinction, parasite democracy. Lice don't check nationalities. Gisela, 22, factory worker, has been feverish for days, blaming cold, blaming hunger, the rash on her chest, the delirium at night, typhus, early stage, spreading. The barracks temperature rises, 20 degrees, 30. Bodies that forgot warmth remember, muscles relax, minds struggle. This isn't matching any propaganda, any warning, any preparation. But why tonight? Why emergency procedures? Why treat enemies like humans requiring saving? The loop plants itself. Question without answer. Yet. Ruth starts stripping, uniform heavy with parasites. 6 months of wear. Never washed, never changed. Pride in endurance, stupidity in hindsight. Others follow, slowly, suspiciously. But the warmth and chemicals are killing what's been killing them. The American guards aren't watching, aren't entering, aren't celebrating. They're freezing outside, burning their own clothes. Then Margaret sees something that changes everything. The guards are burning their own uniforms too. Lice, millions, in every seam, every fold. Every woman carries thousands. Dr. Harrison, 34 medical officer, shows photographs through the window. Magnified lice, typhus bacteria, death in 8 legs, spreading, feeding, killing. The statistics hit like artillery. 90% of POWs infested. Typhus mortality, 20%. 14-day incubation. By symptoms appearing, it's everywhere. Epidemic. Unstoppable without intervention. Wir dachten, es wäre Folter. We thought it was torture. Hannelore, 26, surgical nurse, says this, pulling dead lice from her hair. Hundreds, each one a disease vector. The Wehrmacht never mentioned parasites. Never supplied delousing, never admitted German soldiers were dying from lice more than bullets. Pride over prevention, ideology over medicine. Harrison's photographs show typhus progression, fever, rash, delirium, death. He holds them to windows, making sure they understand. This isn't punishment, it's salvation from what they're already carrying. Steam fills every corner. DDT powder falls like snow. Chemical sharp in nostrils. It burns where skin is broken from scratching, but it's killing what's been feeding on them, what's been weakening them, what's been preparing them for typhus. The disinfectant works systematically. Eggs in seams, adults in hair, larvae in fabric, all dying. The barracks floor turns black with dead parasites. Years of infestation, generations of lice, empires of disease. Anna vomits, not from chemicals, from realization. The weakness she blamed on hunger, the fever she blamed on cold, the confusion she blamed on fear. Typhus, beginning, growing. Through steam, women strip completely. Shame dies with understanding. The lice must die, or they will. Simple equation, survival mathematics. The Americans know this, the Germans didn't care. Ilsa's medical training kicks in. She recognizes symptoms everywhere. Gisela's fever, Ruth's rash, Margaret's confusion, early typhus, treatable now, fatal in days without intervention. The American guards remain outside, freezing, burning everything, their uniforms, their blankets, their dignity, but saving enemies from invisible death, from preventable plague, from Wehrmacht neglect. 8 hours of steam, 8 hours of chemicals, 8 hours of killing what's been killing them. The guards work through the night, every barracks, every prisoner, racing epidemic. Women help each other, checking backs, finding lice, killing manually what chemicals miss. Cooperation born from comprehension, enemy helping enemy survive mutual threat. But when morning came, what they found beside their beds made them weep. Fresh uniforms, deloused, pressed, mended, beside each bed. Impossible. Ilsa touches the fabric. Clean cotton, no lice, no blood, no 6 months of accumulated filth. Someone washed these. Someone pressed these. Someone cared about enemy clothing. The statistics Captain Wilson shares are staggering. Geneva Convention, Article 27. Women POWs dignity protected. 18,000 German women processed. 0 reported assaults in American camps. 0. Wir waren die Barbaren. We were the barbarians. Ruth says this holding her cleaned uniform. The Americans followed rules Germany never mentioned existed, rules Germany violated daily with prisoners. Each uniform has repairs, buttons replaced, tears mended, hours of work on enemy clothing by American hands. The cognitive dissonance cracks something fundamental. Enemies don't mend enemy clothes, except they did. Morning sun through windows, also cleaned. First clear glass in months. The steam cleaned everything. Years of grime. Gone. The barracks transformed. Livable. Human. Dignified. Anna finds chocolate in her pocket. Hershey bar. American military ration. 2 ounces. Weeks' worth of sugar in Germany, if you could find it. If Germany had sugar anymore. Others check. Everyone. Every pocket. Chocolate. From guards' personal rations. Sergeant Brooks's signature on some wrappers. Private Martinez's on others. They use their pay, their food, for enemies. The women dress slowly. Clean fabric feels foreign against skin. Suspicious. Too good for prisoners. Too human for enemies. Some cry putting on underwear without lice. Simple dignity. Forgotten sensation. Wilson explains through Margaret. Every POW gets this. Male, female, officer, enlisted. Same treatment, same dignity. The lice don't discriminate, neither does typhus, neither do Americans. But tears flow for deeper reasons. Shame. They believed propaganda over evidence. They feared rape over typhus. They chose death over trusting Americans. They almost died from pride. Gisella's fever broke during the night. The delousing stopped typhus progression. She'll live, because enemies saved her from parasites her own army ignored. The mathematics of survival, the accounting of humanity. Ruth writes frantically, documenting confusion. How do you process enemies who clean your clothes, who share chocolate, who treat you better than your own command, who follow rules you didn't know existed? The folded uniform, symbolic, clean, pressed, waiting, like dignity restored, like humanity returned, like everything propaganda said was impossible. That's when Ilsa finds something in her uniform pocket that shouldn't exist. Hershey bar. In her pocket, with a note. From Ohio, stay strong. Brooks. 2 ounces chocolate. 1 week's German ration, if available. If affordable. America produced 3 billion ration bars. Billion. The number breaks German comprehension. Chocolate while Germany starves. Brooks enters with coffee. Real Brazilian beans. Not acorn substitute, not burnt grain. Actual coffee. Steam rises from metal cups. Davies, 20. Pours. Serves enemies like guests. Menschlichkeit vom Feind. Humanity from the enemy. This paradox destroying everything they believed, everything they were taught, everything they prepared to die preventing. Now the loop closes. Martinez explains the emergency. Typhus outbreak in men's camp. 3 dead yesterday. 12 critical, spreading exponentially. Every POW needed immediate delousing. Women's camp was last. Most vulnerable, most urgent. The Americans worked 20 straight hours. Every barracks, every prisoner, every piece of clothing. Not their war to fight. Their epidemic to prevent. German lice on German prisoners becoming American responsibility. Chocolate melts on tongues unused to sweetness. Coffee burns throats unused to heat. Kindness hurts more than cruelty would. Because cruelty confirms propaganda. Kindness destroys it completely. Guards paid from personal wages. Brooks confirms this. Chocolate, coffee, soap, cigarettes. Not military supplied. Personal sacrifice. For enemies who expected assault, who prepared for death, who got chocolate instead. Anna shares her bar with Gisela, still weak from typhus. Almost died from lice. Saved by enemies. The 19-year-old who carried cyanide now distributing chocolate. Transformation visible, measurable, irreversible. The wrapper crinkles. American writing. English words. Hershey's milk chocolate. Symbol of abundance, of industry, of winning through production, not just destruction, through chocolate, not just bullets. Ruth documents everything, the cleaning, the delousing, the chocolate. Evidence that won't be believed. Germany won't want to hear enemies were humane. Families won't accept Americans were kind. But here now, in this moment, chocolate dissolves barriers. Coffee bridges, trenches. Humanity transcends uniform colors. The guards aren't monsters. The women aren't victims. They're humans sharing sugar and caffeine. Ilse makes her decision. She's a nurse. They have wounded. American wounded, German wounded, wounded needing care. She has skills, they have need. The equation is simple. 3 days pass, strength returns, lice gone, typhus prevented, chocolate consumed, coffee finished, but debt remains. Human debt, medical debt. 3 days later, Ilse makes a request that could get her shot. Let me help. Ilse points at medical tents, at American wounded, at chaos. Major Cooper, 40, sees her Wehrmacht medical insignia, sees exhausted American nurses, sees arithmetic, 60 wounded, 12 nurses, not enough. 47 German POWs were trained nurses. Cooper has their files, real files, from captured documents. Ilse, surgical certification. Hannelore, trauma specialist. Ruth, pediatric training, skills wasted in barracks, needed in tents. Heilung kennt keine Flagge. Healing knows no flag. Hannelore volunteers immediately. Surgical nurse, 3 years Eastern Front, seen everything, treated everyone. Russian wounded beside German. Blood teaches equality. 31 volunteer within minutes. Hands raised. Decision made. The chocolate debt. The delousing gift. The humanity shown. Time for repayment through skill, through service, through healing. Cooper hesitates. Regulations, security, politics. But wounded keep arriving, American boys bleeding, German prisoners dying. Mathematics override politics. Need transcends nationalism. Within 1 week, all 47 work. American uniforms over German. Red Cross armbands international. The contradiction visible. The necessity obvious. Enemies treating enemies. Healers healing. Ilse's first patient. American private. 19. Iowa farm boy, stomach wound, infected, the kind she's treated hundreds of times. Her hands remember, scalpel, forceps, sutures, muscle memory transcends politics. The surgical light burns bright, antiseptic sharp in nostrils, blood red on white gauze, universal. Color, universal smell, universal urgency. The American boy opens eyes, sees German nurse, whispers, Danke. Learned word, effort made. Anna trains as assistant, too young for full nursing, old enough to hold instruments, to comfort wounded, to translate pain, German words, American wounds, human suffering. Cooper watches. These enemies work harder than allies, longer shifts, more careful, proving something. To Americans, to themselves, to watching world, that healers transcend hatred. Margaret translates medical terminology, morphine dosages, surgical procedures, infection protocols. Language barriers dissolve in medical urgency. Pain speaks all languages. Healing translates itself. The German nurses work 16-hour shifts, voluntary, unpaid beyond rations, but purposeful. Identity restored, not prisoners, not enemies, nurses, healers, humans with skills saving humans. Ruth treats German prisoners alongside Americans. No distinction in care, no preference in treatment. Blood is blood, pain is pain, death is death, medicine is medicine, the transformation visible. Women who expected assault now save lives. Guards who could abuse now protect. Enemies becoming colleagues. But when the German officers arrive as POWs, everything threatens to unravel. SS Sturmbannführer Wagner sees Ilse treating Americans. Verräterin, traitor, the word cuts like shrapnel. Wagner, 38, captured yesterday. 2,000 German officers with him, still wearing death's head insignia, still believing in final victory, still commanding through fear. The medical tent freezes. Every German woman stops. Every American guard tenses. Wagner's authority, even prisoner, radiates threat. The conditioning runs deep. SS commands. Others obey or die. Nach dem Krieg werden wir abrechnen. After the war, we will settle accounts. Wagner spits on the medical floor, where German nurses save American lives, where healing transcends hatred, where his authority means nothing. But every woman hears the threat. After the war, when Americans leave, when Germany rebuilds, lists will exist, names recorded, traitors punished, the women who helped enemies, who chose healing, who survived wrong. Colonel Mitchell, 44, intervenes physically, steps between Wagner and nurses. The confrontation brief but decisive. Geneva Convention, sex separation mandatory. Male POWs relocated immediately. Ilsa doesn't stop working. Sutures continue. American blood stopping. German hands healing. The oath she took predates the Reich. Predates Wagner. Predates this war. Hippocrates over Hitler. Wagner shouts while being dragged out about racial betrayal, about honor, about punishment coming, his voice fading with distance, but threat lingering, poisoning air, planting fear. 2,000 German officers, 0 allowed near hospital, 0 contact with women POWs, American enforcement absolute, protecting German nurses from German officers. The irony sharp. Anna shakes. 19. Raised to obey SS, taught to fear uniforms like Wagner's, now saving those Wagner wants dead. The cognitive dissonance physically painful. Hannelore continues surgery, hand steady despite threats. The American soldier unconscious, doesn't know his life depends on woman just called traitor, doesn't know the courage required. Mitchell documents everything, Wagner's threats, names, dates, evidence for later, for trials, for protection, American military protecting German women from German military. History inverted, Ruth writes frantically, recording threats, creating evidence, paper trail for survival. Because Wagner is right. War will end. Americans will leave. Germany will remember. The medical tent returns to work. But changed. Every woman knows. They've chosen sides. Not American over German, healing over hatred, life over death, future over past. Some will pay for this choice. Maybe all. But tonight, wounds need cleaning. Surgery needs doing. Lives need saving. The war ends in 4 months, but for these women, the real battle was just beginning. May 1945, war ends. Repatriation begins. Letters arrive. Families reject them. Margaret's husband writes 3 sentences. You lived, you helped enemies. Don't return. 20 years of marriage, 3 sentences ending it. The statistics are brutal. 34% of female POWs rejected by families. 1,200 applied for Allied employment. 400 emigrated to America. The mathematics of rejection. The accounting of shame. Lieber tot als entehrt. Better dead than dishonored. Anna's mother writes this to her 19-year-old daughter, who saved lives, who chose healing, who survived wrong, family wanting death over dishonored life. Lieutenant Shaw, 30, processes immigration papers. American hospitals need nurses, sponsors available, housing arranged, future possible for German outcasts. America taking what Germany discards. Ilsa's brother declares her dead to neighbors. Easier than explaining survival. Easier than admitting she helped Americans. The grave without body. The death without dying. Family theater. Ruth's husband remarried. Thought she died. Preferred she had. New wife, new life. Old wife inconvenient. Survival disrupting replacement. The efficiency of moving forward without looking back. The rejections accumulate, daily mail bringing more, fathers disowning, mothers condemning, husbands replacing, children told their mothers died honorably, not survived shamefully, not helped enemies. Gisela has different problem, family dead, Dresden, firebombing, everyone gone, but she's crying for living who reject living, for families choosing ideology over daughters, for Germany eating its own. Shaw's stamps, hit documents, American visas, work permits, new identities. Each stamp rejecting rejection, each document choosing future over past, each signature starting over. Hannelore signs first, no hesitation. Germany offers shame, America offers work. The calculation simple, the emotion complex, leaving homeland that doesn't want her, going to enemy that does. Anna needs sponsors, too young alone, Methodist family in Iowa, lost son in Normandy, will take German girl, the strange mathematics, their loss becoming her gain, grief creating grace, some stay, to prove something, to rebuild, to face hatred with healed American soldiers as evidence, to show Wagner was wrong, that healing transcends borders, that survival isn't shame, the barracks empty, women leaving for America, Britain, Canada, anywhere accepting, the diaspora of dishonored healers, the scattering of surviving women. But 20 years pass. Time changes things. Germany rebuilds. Memories soften. Shame transforms. 20 years later, Ilse returns to Germany wearing something nobody expected. 1965, Munich. Ilse wears U.S. Army medical insignia, teaching German nurses American techniques. She's 44. American citizen, 18 years. Marshall Plan medical advisor. The woman Germany rejected now rebuilding German healthcare. The traitor becoming teacher. Brooks visits, retired, civilian clothes, gray hair, still brings chocolate, Hershey bars. 20 years later. Same gesture, same meaning. Humanity transcending time. Vergeben Sie mir. Forgive me. Wagner speaks from hospital bed, dying. Cancer eating the man who spat on medical floors, who threatened healers, who promised retribution, now begging mercy from the traitor. 400 former POWs became Americans. 89 work in military hospitals. 12 returned helping rebuild Germany. The statistics of transformation, the mathematics of redemption. Ilse checks Wagner's charts. Professional. Thorough. The oath she kept when he demanded betrayal. The healing continuing despite history, despite memory, despite everything. Wagner's hand reaches out. Skeletal. Desperate. The SS officer who embodied strength, now embodying mortality. Ideology meaningless against cancer. Racial theory irrelevant to tumors. Anna writes from Iowa, married, teacher, 3 children, the 19-year-old told to die now teaching life. Sending medical supplies to German orphanages, paying forward chocolate and kindness. Margaret works here, never remarried, built career from rejection. Head nurse now, training younger women, teaching them healing transcends borders, that survival isn't shameful, that helping enemies creates friends. The hospital ward holds other stories, former Wehrmacht, former SS, former enemies, now patients. Receiving care from women they called traitors, being saved by those they condemned. Ruth documents still. Now for history, for record, for proof that humanity survived humanity's worst, that chocolate and delousing and kindness matter, that small gestures change large histories. The stethoscope cold against Wagner's chest, heart failing, body surrendering. But Ilse holds his hand, traitor comforting SS, American citizen helping German dying, healer transcending. Everything. Brooks and Ilse drink coffee, real coffee, like 20 years ago, enemy and prisoner then, friends now, connected by chocolate, by humanity, by choosing healing over hatred. The folded uniform sits in museum now, clean, pressed, symbol of transformation, of dignity preserved, of enemies becoming human, of propaganda dying while people lived. Comment below. If enemies showed humanity when you expected brutality, would you forgive? Would you return? Would you heal them? 6 words terrified them. Sleep without your clothes tonight. What followed, steam not assault, chocolate not cruelty, healing not hatred, proved humanity survives even humanity's worst.